Hello everyone and welcome back to another average review. And today we're going back to the Mcfarlane Superman 2025 movie line to look at the Red Platinum Deluxe Theatrical Edition Mr. Terrific. Boy, that is a mouthful. So looking at the packaging first of all, we of course have the DC Multiverse and Superman 2025 logos along with Mr. Terrific's name and this deluxe theatrical edition text right here in shiny blue lettering. We also have this dreadful red platinum sticker, and on the side we see this pretty cool image of Superman with, the Superman text over it, which is pretty neat. And on the back, we have this, honestly, kind of weird-looking art of Mr. Terrific. But, I ain't really too interested in the box. Let's have a look at this Mr. Terrific, and we'll see if this figure lives up to how good Mr. Terrific was in the movie. Alright, taking a look at the figure in terms of sculpt work and painting, and I'm pretty dang impressed. This guy looks, just like the version of Mr. Terrific from the movie. And the likeness? It's alright. Not the worst likeness I've ever seen. I can definitely see a pretty dang good resemblance to the Mr. Terrific's actor, Eddie Gathegi. I really hope I'm pronouncing his name right. So, yeah, that's pretty decent. They got his T mask correctly. It's very hard to see on camera, but if you look closely at his mouth area, you can see that Mcfarlane did put in the details of the separation between, this area of the T-mask right below the nose and the one that starts from his bottom lip, since that's how it was in the movie. His mask was actually two separate pieces, and they were connected by him sort of having black lipstick, which I think was a very, very good way of translating the design from the comics. Speaking of the design from the comics, his jacket looks really good. The paintwork seems pretty dang clean, and of course, it's a really cool looking, red, black, and white. On his arms, you can see that he has fair play written on them, just like in the movie, and his arms, I just noticed, are actually pinless, which is a pretty dang nice touch. You can see the same as on this arm, except, the fair play is going from down to up instead of from up to down. And on the back of his jacket, we can see that it says, well, terrific, since that's what he's the mister of. I did notice that this red streak above the terrific on his back does seem to be a little misaligned, but that's getting a bit nitpicky, especially since I'm not going to be looking at the back of this figure much. Speaking of what I'm not going to be looking at much, there's nothing really interesting below the belt. That does have a T logo, I might add. But I will say, it is accurate to how he looked in the movies, especially down to these boots right here. You can see that he's got these cool red soles on the bottom of his boots, which is pretty dang cool. And I should also mention that he does, of course, have the Justice Gang logo on his chest. Well, name pending. I should also mention that the hands he comes preloaded with are pretty cool, since they're actually holding his T-spheres, which they're pretty nicely sculpted and painted. Not much to say about them. They're white spheres with a black T sculpted on, but it's still pretty cool. So overall, Mcfarlane did a really good job of sculpting and painting the, live action version of Mr. Terrific, which is pretty cool since he was awesome in the movie. But the real question is, how good is the articulation on this Mr. Terrific? Well, starting off at the head, and he's of course got the standard Mcfarlane dumbbell joint. He can look up this far, which is pretty decent. He can look down a little, tilt his head side to side a pretty fair amount, and spin his head all the way around. Now, he doesn't have rotator cuffs, but his shoulders do sort of wobble around a little. His shoulders, of course, can spin around and hinge the slightest bit under 90 degrees. He's got bicep swivel, which gives you 360-degree rotation, along with double-jointed elbows on those pinless arms that get a really, really good bend. And of course, he's got the Mcfarlane-style wrists that can spin around and hinge in any direction. Now, the torso articulation is a little different than usual since his entire torso is just one, overlay piece, including the jacket and the actual suit itself. And I'm pretty sure all the articulation is just from a ball joint in the waist, so let's see how good or bad this is. He gets an okay arch back, not too bad, and unfortunately a fairly lackluster hunch forward, although it is better than some Mcfarlane figures, so I'll give it that. He gets a really good amount of tilt side to, an okay amount of tilt side to side, actually. And he can spin around. Now, what is impressive are his Mcfarlane-style hips, which can actually cut 90 degrees and maybe even they can go a bit above 90 degrees. And they also get a pretty much perfect split, which is always nice to see. He's got a little bit of thigh rotation too, which I guess is a nice touch. He's got double jointed knees though, with a pretty alright bend, along with Mcfarlane-style ankles that can spin around, hinge forward and back, pivot side to side, and they've of course got the Mcfarlane toe articulation. So even though the torso articulation was limited, it's sort of on par with most Mcfarlane figures, which is impressive for a figure with only a ball joint in the waist and not even a diaphragm joint like most Mcfarlane figures. Now moving on to the figure comparisons, and we of course have to start out with the standard male and female comparisons. The Marvel Legends, Renew Your Vows, Spider-Man, and Spinneret. But hey, this is the version of Mr. Terrific from the James Gunn Superman movie, so it only makes sense to bring out some other figures from that same movie. Starting off, of course, with Superman, the standard release version, since, I think the deluxe theatrical edition wasn't exactly worth it. For another character that, spoilers, joins the Justice Gang at the end of Superman, we have Metamorpho Rex Mason. But hey, for a character that doesn't exactly look like they directly leaped off the comic page, unlike the last three guys, we have the deluxe theatrical edition Ultraman, who I absolutely love. Also, look at him. He's giant compared to Mr. Terrific. Unfortunately, McFarlane Toys has not made the movie versions of Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner, so instead I'm going to be bringing out the collector edition comic Hawkgirl. Not Guy Gardner though, since I don't have the collector edition version of him. Although I should probably track that guy down now that I have the rest of the Justice Gang. But hey, he was the main villain of the movie, so it feels appropriate to bring out Lex Luthor in his power armor from DC Rebirth. Especially since, he's definitely going to be wearing that power armor in the sequel to Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Which I am unbelievably excited for. But hey, to quickly run through some comic book Justice League members, we have the digital No Man's Land Batman and the Page Puncher's Golden Age Wonder Woman. For some other League members though, we have John Stewart Green Lantern and the DC Digital Speed Force Flash, who's still suffering from a broken ankle. But those two are a good segue to the Alan Scott and Jay Garrick versions of Green Lantern and the Flash, for some Justice Society comparisons, since, Mr. Terrific has been a member of the Justice Society for a really long time. Now, I got this Mr. Terrific figure at a Target, so I might as well bring out the Target exclusive figures of Wildcat and Hourman, Also, I don't know if you guys caught the Mcfarlane Toys live stream from very recently, but this Hourman was built off of the Crisis on Infinite Earth Spectre body mold, and they're releasing a new version of the Spectre in a 2-pack with Atom Smasher, which I'm probably gonna pick up to fill out my Justice Society. Speaking of Atom Smasher, though, we have the original Atom, Al Pratt, by Mattel on the left, and on the right, we have the DC Digital Dr. Fate. But, as is tradition for this series, here's the Mcfarlane Deluxe Theatrical Edition Mr. Terrific with the Marvel Legends hit Monkey and Goliath. Now, moving on to the accessories, what does Mr. Terrific come with, being a Deluxe Theatrical Edition? Well, in terms of hands, he comes with, of course, the 2 hands he came preloaded with, which are the ones holding his T-spheres. He also comes with a pair of accessory holding hands, which would probably be pretty useful, but unfortunately, he doesn't come with anything to actually hold. I kinda wish in addition to these accessory holding hands, he came with a pair of fists, for when he beat up all those LexCorp workers. Well, it was Luthor Corp in the movie, but same difference. But that's not all that Mr. Terrific comes with, since he actually comes with something pretty unique. He comes with 3 alternate face plates, so you can replace the expression on his face. Taking a very close look, this is the default faceplate. This is the alternate one. I can barely tell the difference, but his cheekbones look a little bit more defined. He also comes with a smiling head sculpt, which is a little odd since I don't really remember him grinning ear to ear in the movie, but I guess it's a nice option to have. Although I would have preferred if the Deluxe Theatrical Edition Superman got a smiling head sculpt. Probably would have been better than the, 3 identical alternate faceplates. But he also comes with an alternate angry faceplate, which is probably my second favorite. Turning the camera light off, and yeah, this is a really, really good angry head sculpt. And I'd say if I weren't going to display this guy with the default head sculpt, it'd probably be the angry one. Also, I'm adding this section in post-production because I realized I forgot to actually mention it in the video, but just like all other DC Multiverse figures, Mr. Terrific comes with a figure stand, albeit with silver foil, and a trading card, which features the art on the back of the box, and a bio on the back, so, yeah. The fact that I only realized this once I got to editing the video shows how important the trading card that comes with these figures is to me. So, the next big question about this Mr. Terrific is the price and also availability. Now, Mr. Terrific is a Deluxe Theatrical Edition, which means he retails for about $35. Now, do I think that price is worth it? I'm a little mixed. I do think the base figure is spectacular, and it perfectly represents Mr. Terrific, but I feel like the accessories leave a little to be desired. The faceplates are cool, although I do feel like the alternate neutral one is kinda pointless, and I wish he came with regular fists. I will say, though, the angry faceplate and these hands holding the T-spheres are awesome, and they sorta make up for that negative. Although I do feel they could have also given us an accessory where it's just a T-sphere on, a stand, so you can have it, flying around. I don't know. I think that would be cool. It could look like Mr. Terrific is, throwing one of his T-spheres. But that's not all, because Mr. Terrific is a red platinum. No, I don't know why either. So he is way more difficult to find. So the question is, if you can't find this guy in stores, well, what prices does he go for on aftermarket sites like eBay? Well, if you're looking at him inbox on eBay, that'll cost you between $40 and around $50, which I don't think is worth it at all. Maybe even 35 was pushing it a bit, but I mean, some aspects of this figure sort of made up for that at its retail price. So overall, what are my final thoughts on this deluxe theatrical edition Mr. Terrific? Well, overall, I'm pretty dang satisfied. I absolutely loved Mr. Terrific in the Superman movie, and this figure does an adequate job overall at being a figure of that live-action Mr. Terrific. Now, the sculpting and paintwork is phenomenal, as is the articulation, although I feel like the price and some of the accessories leave a little to be desired. I would have preferred an extra pair of fists and also maybe an effect for actually throwing the T-spheres, but I won't deny the faceplates are really, really cool. But the problem is, this guy has kind of terrible availability due to him being a red platinum. Which, I mean, I think is especially egregious knowing how popular Mr. Terrific became after the release of Superman. So overall, I'd say this figure's positives outweigh its negatives a really, really fair amount, but those negatives are still there, so I'm gonna give the Mcfarlane DC Multiverse Deluxe Theatrical Edition Mr. Terrific a 9 out of 10. If he had slightly better accessories, I might have actually still made him a 10, despite that whole red platinum thing. Either way, though, I'm happy that I finally have a DC Multiverse Mr. Terrific in my collection, especially since he can fit with both the comic and movie figures, since, I mean, minus the extra lines and Justice Gang logo on his chest, he's pretty much just a comic Mr. Terrific. But hey, if you've made it this far into the video, first of all, thank you very much for watching, and second of all, have a great day, because you deserve it. Bye-bye!